You were engaged in prison ministry work. And I said, Roger, would you come on? And you made it clear, JB, I am not a theologian. I'm not going into those depths. And I said, no, just the fact that you were engaged. Roger, and I know Tony Dungy, who has been actively engaged in prison ministry work, had extensive conversations with you about it. Why that particular passion of yours? What have you been aiming to accomplish with that, Roger?
Well, JB, listen, I don't put myself in the category of what you and Tony have done because what you've done in this area has been extraordinary. Our local church got involved in our community, and through that, they asked me to participate. And I support it because, you see people who have paid their debts to society and coming out. We don't really give them much of an opportunity to get past it and to be successful. And the support systems we need to allow people to say, okay, I made a mistake and I want to move forward are really critical. One of the things that I love is seeing people take advantage of second chances. I talk about that in the NFL. We have players that have made big mistakes on a big stage. And I'm probably closer to those players than I am any of the other players because I went through that with them in a different way. And they know that I care about who they are as men first and foremost, not just players, and that I want them to be successful in life. And fortunately, these guys have. They've made a change and they've realized the mistake and they've overcome it. The same's true with people that have been incarcerated and many times wrongfully incarcerated. How do we help them get over the mistake they made and be successful and contribute to our society? And it is so disruptive when there's incarceration. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's warranted, but once they've served their time, we need to help them get on their feet and move forward.
And as you just so articulated so well, one of the basic tenets of the good news or the gospel, if you will, the heart, the passion that you have in giving those who have repented, shown remorse, and have turned to head in the right direction, deserving a second chance. Let me be clear to the audience out there. Roger and I did not discuss this. I will take the brick bat from him later, but I got a chance to see that firsthand with you working with Michael Vick. I went to visit Michael Vick in prison, and I understand that many decisions that any of us make, certainly you in the highly visible and influential position that you're in, will take the hit for that. But you manifested that when I talked to you about Michael Vick, the interview that I did with him for 60 Minutes on CBS, and him walking the road to redemption and coming back and justifying your faith in him. While there are many who probably would not forgive him, you did. Are you pleased with the way he took advantage of his second chance, Roger?
JB, listen, I'm not one to judge Michael Vick's life, but I will tell you this. This is a young man who recognized the mistake he made. He was accountable for it. He paid a very heavy price. And I think he deserved the opportunity to resume his career and to be a positive influence in life. And not only did he come back and resume his career in the NFL, all along that, he went and he worked with communities. He worked with organizations that are working to make sure that others aren't involved with the same issue, and that he has talked about his mistake. And he's sharing that, hopefully, and I believe very much so, in trying to get others not to be involved, not to make the same mistake, to treat animals with the same respect that we treat humans. And so from my standpoint, I think it's really important that we support Michael in that. And, he's a good family man. I see him all the time. I talk to him frequently. I'm proud of who he is as a person now and how he's overcome the mistake. And I think there's nothing more satisfying in our life than seeing somebody who has done that. And, to me, that's what we all should be trying to do, is influence lives in a better way. And Michael Vick has done that on his own and with a lot of support, including with yours and Coach Dungy's.
And thank goodness we have a God who certainly believes in second, third, 20 chances if you're genuinely remorseful about that. Roger, noteworthy that you talk about his commitment, his Michael Vick's commitment and what he's been doing. As you know much better than me, when he came out of jail, he embarked upon a 2-year agreement with the Humane Society to go and speak into those urban communities to dissuade people from dogfighting, just as the Humane Society does with those in rural America, to take someone who has turned around in that regard to speak and try to dissuade people there. That was a 2-year agreement that Michael Vick had with them. He's been doing it now for 10 plus years to speak to his commitment as well. And I certainly commend him for that. Many people may see you as the sheriff, if you will, of the NFL, but I know my colleague, Bill Cowher, is totally on board with this as well, too, in the area of personal conduct. And again, we knew that one of your seriously driven objectives was to protect the shield in a positive sense like this in terms of personal conduct. And Bill Cowher, I remember him saying that playing in the NFL is a privilege, not a right. Why is personal conduct, which you have to model for all, why is that so important to you, Roger?
Well, JB, not only does it protect the shield, but frankly, it protects the other player's reputation. I've said this a number of times. We have 3,000 players at any given time under contract to the NFL. And, you know, mistakes by any one of those individuals reflects on all players. And our guys are the best guys I know. They are extraordinary young men who do extraordinary things in their communities and contribute so much. And to have a few guys who make mistakes reflect so poorly on them, and people think incorrectly that these guys are not doing the things they're doing in their communities and distract from those great things. I think that's something I believe all of us have to represent the NFL, to represent our institution, represent our teams and our communities in a way that reflects well on everybody who's participating, and including the former players. And so, to me, it's a responsibility of being in a high profile, um, not just business, but something that so many people care about and people look up to. Young kids look up to our players. Whether you like it or not, you're a role model. That's the privilege of being a part of the NFL. And so the way you do things influences people. And so that's why I believe we have to do the right thing. On the other hand, that's balanced with, you make a mistake, there's a price to be paid, and you're accountable, come back and show people you can overcome that mistake. That's a great lesson also.